So the other day I watched a Lonerbox video and he was talking about deplatforming, and well, today I want to talk about deplatforming. Now this means exactly what you think. It basically means banning someone from a place where they have a large audience, aka a platform, and whether or not this should be allowed, well, the answer to that is rather gray, because on one hand these apps are owned by someone or a group of people, and since it's their hypothetical home, they make the rules, and on the other hand you have freedom of speech. Yeah. Nonetheless, with the rise and fall of cancel culture, we've seen a handful of people get their careers hampered, paused, or downright destroyed by deplatforming. And while each case is rather nuanced and basically happens every week on Twitch, I'm gonna stick to the most recent and most popular deplatforming on my side of the internet, Andrew Tate and Sneako. Damn, I didn't think I'd talk about them so much. Nonetheless, Andrew Tate and Sneako believe they are, air quotes, being silenced by the Matrix. Crazy. For speaking the, air quotes, truth. And while they are in a way being, air quotes, silenced, it isn't really their ideas or the fact they're preaching them. I believe it's the reaction to their ideas. For the most part, for the bullet points of their ideology is think for yourself, be a leader, get in shape and maintain your shape, be more masculine, be more stoic, and a handful of other traditional man values. And if the reaction to Andrew Tate was an increase in gym memberships, people start dressing more modern or more classy, or heaven forbid, are like fucking mob bosses, then the status quo internet or CEOs of social media would be like, yeah, go ahead, do your thing, 21. But when you start slipping in your anti-government speeches in between those masculine sandwiches and other random taboo shit he talks about, that's when the air quotes Matrix bat an eye to you. But there are channels out there that preach the same stuff that he does. There are channels dedicated to conspiracy theories and diving into unclassified documents and speculating on the, classified. But the reason these guys and girls still have a platform is because their viewers aren't watching their videos and doing / saying stuff that's taboo, stupid, or downright harmful to society. And I forgot to finish writing the script, so we're just gonna go off the top of my head for the rest of this. But before we get into me rambling about this without a script, I asked my friend Mr. Face to provide his opinions on deplatforming and things of that nature for an outside opinion, because when you're talking about issues and things that have these gray answers, it's best to have multiple perspectives on a said issue instead of listening to a bunch of people with the same opinion. So this is what he has to say.
All right, so my views on deplatforming are pretty simple, but at the same time a little complex. Here's what I'll say. When you look at the example that I was given by Foxboy was Andrew Tate. When you look at Andrew Tate, I believe that he has every right to say what he wants to say, right? It's freedom of speech. I'm fully advocate for that. You should have the right to say whatever you want to say, but with every right comes a responsibility. And even though you have the right to say whatever you want to say to whoever you want to say and however you want to say it, you also have the responsibility to deal with what happens with that, right? If you want to go up to somebody and say racial slurs to their face, you have absolutely every right to do so, but you also have the responsibility to accept the consequences of what happens after you say that. Same thing with these platforms. They have the right to ban anyone from their platform for any reason at all, for no reason at all, because that's their right. It's their platform, and they don't have to have you on it. They don't have to let you on it. But again, they have to understand that, millions of people follow this man. If you ban this man from your platform, you're probably losing a ton of revenue from that. At the same time, if you don't want them that badly, then that's up to you. So again, that's I don't think that Andrew Tate has necessarily done anything wrong to warrant a deplatforming, but at the same time, I don't think that anyone who's deplatformed him has wronged him in any way. It's their total right? Everyone has their right. Now, I will say that, in the case of Andrew Tate specifically, if you follow the money, there definitely is some blackballing going on. I mean, I don't care what it is or who it is. You don't lose the right to use Uber just because of what you said on YouTube. At least not anything Andrew Tate has said, right? There's just nothing that he said that's warranted that he can't even order. This man doesn't even have a Domino's pizza rewards app. You know what I'm saying? Because Domino's has blocked him. Like that is excessive. Okay, when you can't get your standard discount like everyone else can on pizza because of what you said. Like, he didn't say anything that crazy on YouTube to warrant that. So there's definitely something weird going on with that specific situation. But as far as like deplatforming in general, hey man, you have your right. I know personally, if I owned a platform, I wouldn't be deplatforming anyone. Now, you can't commit a crime and film it on my platform. Obviously, you can't say overtly, you can't promote violence and actions toward other races and things like that. But if you're like, hey man, I truly believe that women should work, should stay at home, women should be stay at home, all women should be stay at home moms, blah blah blah. Like, that's your opinion on how women should function in society. It's ignorant and it's wrong, but it's not horrible. If you say, honestly, I think that black people should have priority over white people when it comes to first class. I think any black person flying should just automatically be able to fly first class simply because they're black. It's like, that's not really like a horribly like supremacist statement, but like it is still ignorant and like like not my point of view. But I wouldn't ban you for it if I had a platform. You on my platform saying that. And also, there's space for comedy and things like that, where you do say things that you don't mean for the sake of a joke and blah blah blah, and you have to be understanding of those things as well. But that's my point. When it comes to this Andrew Tate specifically, I do think that there's something fishy going on. I do think that it's on the verge of blackball, activity, and maybe it's leftist organizations targeting him, making an example of him. But at the same time, when it comes to deplatforming in general, I really don't see like at face value, there's really nothing wrong with what the creator said. There's really nothing wrong with what the content promoters have done. It's completely their right. Again, not something I would do if Andrew Tate was on my platform. I would not have banned him, but it is what it is.
I'm not actually going to listen to what he has to say until I edit this video, so that way we don't have a back and forth debate between he and I, because if I wanted to do that, I would get him in a Discord call. But anyways, I think deplatforming is real, but I think it's more about the context to what's going on. For the most part, you can say whatever you want. You can preach what you want. Like, for example, them with the whole masculine men thing, be this, that, and the third, right? I don't think anybody really has a problem with that whatsoever. But the problem becomes, or even when he preaches his anti-government stuff, or the random stupid shit he says about women and trying to put out, or not put out, but trying to have a formula for how women work, for how the world works and things of that nature. Nobody really has an issue for that, because on a smaller scale, just about everybody that does commentary does that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's the reaction to what you're saying. You can say all the conspiracies theory, anti-government, anti-people, slanderous, defamatory shit about women and whatever as you want. But when you start cultivating, or when thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are now taking your message and using it to do dumb shit and do dumb things and do anti this, and it basically cause like anarchy. I don't know if I used that word correctly, but use the context clues. That's when it becomes a big issue. That's when it becomes a problem, because like, all right, you are now becoming a beacon, a spokesperson for this dumb shit happening, and it's being really harmful. And that's why they got deplatformed. And I think I really dislike when these people act so naive to the idea, and they will be saying all these things, which, I mean, I disagree with it. I think some of it's really stupid, but saying these things isn't the problem. It's when you're scooping up these people that either agree with you, or you're scooping up the people who are on the fence and you're knocking them over on your side. It's when you start scooping up them to go do harmful shit. When you start scooping up these people and saying like, oh, don't go to the doctor because I believe this, and this, and my opinion is the truth, and they disagree with it, so they're the Matrix, and you know what I'm saying? When you start scooping these people up and they believe this stupid shit, that's when it becomes a problem. When you start And it's so ironic because they'll call the status quo or whatever the Matrix, and don't be a part of that. You know, they're the hive mind, they're the slave brain, they're this, that, and the third. So their response to the air quotes hive mind society is to say, hey, come think and do the things that I do. Basically, let's be a hive mind. So it's really stupid. It's really ironic. But back to the point, I think they're really naive to the idea. They will be like, we're getting silenced and blah, blah, blah. They don't want us to tell you the truth, and they want to get rid of me because I'm telling you how it really works in the world and things of that nature. When it's like, no, they're acting as if, you know, like I said it in the Aiden Ross video. I don't know if this will be coming out before or after. Actually, it'll be after. Dude, like, you can do whatever you want as long as you're okay with the consequences. And these guys go around doing these things, and they want to do whatever the fuck they want, say whatever the fuck they want, but they don't want consequences for it. And it's like they want to preach the air quotes truth and say how the world works, but they don't even understand the simple fucking concept of a consequence. If you're going around gathering hundreds of thousands of people to say, don't go to the doctor, don't do this, you're convincing thousands of people to do something very unhealthy and pass their very unhealthy view of something on to other people. That is damaging. That is very damaging. So of course, they're not going to want you to talk about that. You're spreading misinformation, which is against the terms of service on, I believe, YouTube. I don't know what else, but yeah, it's just against the rules. You can't do it. If you want to do that shit, do it on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to defame and whatever they'll break the rules and then try to like blame the rules. It's really silly and stupid, and it's hard to argue against without a script, but it should be blatantly obvious. And they always want to talk about they're getting silenced, which is really funny because they're using the internet to talk about getting silenced. It's like if they really wanted to silence you, you're like, not only would they try to wipe you off the face of the internet, which the only person who has a very good argument for that is Andrew Tate, but they would have banned all the stand accounts, trying to get your message out again, all the fan pages, anything referencing you. That is truly being silenced. So you say, posting a video, getting millions of views saying, I'm being silenced, come watch me over here, this is where I'm going to be doing the rest of my thing because they don't want me to tell the truth. And then you go on there and you're not bothered whatsoever. I don't know what app Sneako is on right now, but he's on there. Nobody's messing with him. He's fine. He is fine. He hasn't been silenced. They said, yo, if you gonna spout that bullshit, don't do that in my house. Get the fuck out of here. That's not being silenced. That's consequences. We don't want you doing that shit over here. Go somewhere else. Okay, you're gonna keep doing it. You're banned. Don't come back. That's not silence. That's consequences. So, like, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to that part of deplatforming, I think is whether you agree with it or disagree, it's just consequences. It's a simple life thing. What do they call it? Cause and effect. We learned that in school. You could see that anywhere. Everything is cause and effect. So these guys are trying to do the cause and not get the effect. It's stupid. And they want to throw these buzzwords and terms out against this is the Matrix and blah, 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 to try to get people to join their cult, for lack of a better word, and try to defame everybody else's way of thinking just because they think differently. There's nothing wrong with thinking differently. Some of us are going to think you're stupid for it, and that's logical. Some people are going to think that whatever I'm saying in this 10 minutes is stupid. It's just a numbers game. That is perfectly fine. But anyways, that is a tangent and things of that nature. As for deplatforming the thing, it depends. It's very gray because there's certain situations to where, yeah, you do need to deplatform somebody. If the Grand Wizard is out here preaching his ideology and he's getting millions of views on YouTube, or he's going crazy on Twitter, yeah, I think it's justified for you to try to get that guy off of YouTube, get that guy off of Twitter. And they might say freedom of speech and things of that nature, which is 100%. But, the thing that people don't talk about with freedom of speech is consequences. If you go into an airport and say bomb, yeah, you can go to an airport and say bomb, but you can't complain when you get tackled and kicked the fuck out the airport. You know what I'm saying? If you are constantly talking about doing something to the president, right, and then you book a ticket to go to wherever the president is about to be, and you get tackled by Secret Service and things of that nature, and you like, no, it was just a joke. And freedom of speech, you can't harass me because I said I was going to do X, Y, and Z to the president. No, that's stupid. You know, you have freedom of speech, but there's consequences to it. Like, people, you know what I mean? I don't want to keep repeating myself, but that's pretty much the main argument against this. And this is going to be really long because I heard Mist's point was about 6 minutes. So this is going to be looking to be 16 minutes. But anyways, this one's going to be a little bit more all over the place because I didn't finish writing the script, but I already hit record, so I'm just gonna let it rock. So yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel about deplatforming, yeah, things of that nature. And yeah, this has been a Subconsciousness Open Thoughts series. If you're still hearing my voice right now, you've done more than enough to keep this series going and things of that nature. So until we meet in the next video in the comments, remember, if you know man, because we know we up next. Sponsored by Atari and
Join will be hopping. The octopus said the same thing to Yoshi. It's about being patient, picking the moment. So snap out of it. You can't let a couple of losses blow you off course. You don't have to win now, just someday. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Well, it kills the octopus.